We
Hey,
are
everybody.
live. Hey, hi everybody. Hi Mohammed and I hold boxes and Mike and Tim, Paul. Excellent.
And I just realized I need to download 2 more videos. Just when I thought I was all ready.
So, Mohammed, while Jeff is busy, we want to ask you a quick question because you sent us all these great photographs and the videos and stuff. I want to put up a picture. Can you tell me, are you one of the two guys standing in the front of this picture, and which one are you? Are you the gentleman in the jacket, or are you the gentleman in the shirt, or neither one? Please clarify.
Yeah.
We're
We're
confused.
really trying hard to figure it out. We think we know the answer. We're going to find out if we're correct. Okay.
Hi, everybody else. We just want to
Yeah,
get
hello.
clarify because Mohammed, we don't know what you look like in real life, but we just want to make sure we're seeing the right person and which one you are.
Yep. Copy. And boom.
With the uniform, you were right, guys. The gentleman on the
Yay.
left.
Okay, now show them
Right.
the other one that we're the half of the group on the left.
Okay.
And that one.
Are you in?
Are
Are
you
you in
there?
this picture? Are you in this particular picture, Mohammed? We're waiting with bated breath.
Well, it says with uniform, but they all have uniforms on, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I know. I think he meant.
Some
I
are
said
in
which one of the
suits.
Okay, he is not in that.
negative,
Okay, well, good,
okay.
thank you. Because we're going
That makes
I don't
sense because we
see
weren't
him.
sure.
If he's
Yeah,
that
we're
other
playing
guy.
a guessing game going,
Yeah.
has
okay.
he shaved his beard since then?
But this is you right in the front of the photograph, standing next to the gentleman just in the shirt,
Excellent.
and you've got the jacket on. Yeah, good. Okay.
Sweet.
Yes, I'm
That
the
helps
guy
us
with the
so
black
much.
eyeglasses. Yep, there you go. Excellent.
Okay.
Very
That's
retro.
what
Good,
we-
Very
good
good.
looking.
Phew.
Very good looking.
Yeah, we figured it was the good-looking guy.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone else in the group.
Yeah. Anybody else that might be in the chat room that are also in that picture?
We think you're very. We think you're very handsome too.
Yeah, you're all handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm just about ready. Got to do a sound
So,
check.
guys, just so you know what we're doing today, we're going to do a little shorter version today because Steph at the last minute had to go flying, so she had to opt out. So we're going to cover some stuff today, and then we'll try and set up a time over the weekend to do the rest of it. We'll let you know.
Exactly.
Exactly. Hi, Neil Landwarn.
Yes, we received your audio feedback, Mohammed,
Yep.
and your video clips. We got the whole
Donna
media
Rose.
package. The whole
Yep.
media package.
It's all great. Love it.
Yeah. Hi, Donna Rose. Hello, Neil. Hello, Paul Verhagen. And I think I saw Mike Kuipers
Yep.
earlier. Yeah.
And Tim Van Ram.
All right, let me load up these things here. Present and video file. And you doing all right, man?
Yeah, just.
Okay. I don't know how much you want to share of that. You going to share
Well, you know me. I have no embarrassment.
that? Okay, good.
open-
Good. I
you're
didn't
an
know if you
open
didn't
book,
want us to
as it
say
were.
anything or not. That you have just completed a procedure earlier today
Yeah.
that is obviously making you feel a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons we're going to shorten things up
Yeah,
today.
that is. Yeah, the
It
other
may be quite short if Nick is.
Yes, I had it go being a hot air balloon, and I didn't enjoy it very much.
Not a balloon pilot.
Oh, thank you, Neil, for asking.
No such thing. We all know that now.
So yesterday I was all set to, access the back end, not Nick's, but the back end of our website to publish the.
I've had enough gentlemen touching my back end today. Thank you
I'll
very
stay
much.
away from it for now. So episode 542 it's all done and was ready to publish. Couldn't get access to the site. It got that stupid thing that you get when you put in airlinepilotguy.com. It's the domain registrar for our website is GoDaddy, but the actual site is hosted by DigitalOcean. I thought, because when I went on to DigitalOcean, I didn't see anything there. Okay. Didn't see anything there. And I'm thinking, what happened? What happened to the site? I was like freaking out. And it turns out that they got back to me and said that there are two different ways to log in, and I was using the Teams way to do it, and there was nothing there. If I went in and did my personal login, then the droplet, they call it, is there. So the website's all there, it's all intact. But now I have to figure out why the domain name got disconnected from pointing to DigitalOcean. That's why. Are any of the episodes appearing in the podcast apps? Uh-oh.
Sounds like not.
So what the way these things work? Oh crap! Didn't even think about that. Is that it looks at an RSS feed, which is a big long file with a lot of data in it, and telling computers where to find files on certain servers and that kind of thing. And I'm still seeing.
He said he got nothing after 5:39.
Huh. Maybe I'm seeing it because I had already downloaded these things to. Yeah, so that's probably why. Because the RSS feed is located within all that stuff on DigitalOcean, and that's where the podcast clients get their information from this feed. Google Podcasts has all the episodes listed still. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, good news is that the thing didn't sink in the DigitalOcean. That the site and all the why is that thing doing that? All the show notes and everything else are still available. It's just we can't access them right now until I repoint.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That was the fear initially, was that everything was lost, that you were going to have to start recreating stuff. But that's not the case.
That's not the case. It's just a matter of getting the post office to understand what address I'm living at, so to speak. And once it has a good, right now, what the airlinepilotguy.com is pointing to is a Google Cloud server. I don't know why. So something must have hiccuped over at GoDaddy with the DNS settings. So Arash is going to help me with that when he gets a chance. He's in the midst of flying from Montreal to, well, I shouldn't say. He's flying right now, and he is going to work on it when he gets a chance. I agree, Liz. We'll just do, what we can. And if we can't do anything, then we'll just shift it to another day like we did last week.
That's fine. Yep.
Like to try to do as much as we can, though.
Yeah.
Because doing it on a Sunday, it doesn't leave me a lot of time to do all the editing and everything else, especially when we have this issue.
If Nick needs to step away, you can do a little old school. You can do a little bit.
Yeah, I could do that. Okay, don't feel bad about just disappearing if you need to vent.
Yep.
Well, since there's only me here.
Yeah, but I mean, I can. I did this show for 6 years just by myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I'm here too in the background.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, Liz is here. She's always here.
Sure.
And she can always pop in as she is right now. Okay, let me do a sound check just to make sure I don't blow out everybody's ears.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. The view from our side of the cockpit door. WAPG.
Is that all right?
Little loud. Little loud to me.
Okay.
Not much, but just a little.
All right. I'll just tweak it down a little bit.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. The view from our side of the cockpit door.
A little bit more?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Let's see.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
That's still good?
Yep.
All right. Let me turn the DAW on. Why is it so loud over there? I need to... It's clipping. Hang on. Let me tweak this back to Reaper. And I'm going to bring it down to about 85%. Okay. And the recorder is on. Say something over there in StreamYard.
Hello in StreamYard.
Okay.
And I'm recording too.
Well, very good. Okay. And back over here. And need to call Skype.
Oh yes, sorry. Yep, my bad.
No
Okay,
problem.
hang on, right there.
Mhm.
Let me get.
I'm hanging on.
Mute here.
Well, wait a minute. Why can't I? Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I hear you. Okay.
Alrighty, already.
Okay. Oh, there we go. There it is.
I guess we shouldn't put this up, eh, Nick?
Well, you can stick it up, but I'm probably unable to
Comply.
Okay. So I got that. And we're recording. And let me get the Evernote cheat sheet up. And okay. I think, and it's just, okay, we're going to gray out Kakalaki. It's just so I don't get too confused. I'm so easily confused.
Today.
Yep. Yeah, all right. I think we're ready. Radio Roger, are you ready? He says he's good.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG, it's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy, episode 543.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. The view from our side of the cockpit door with your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from Studio 1A at former APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded on the 3rd of November, 2022.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. It's right and it's flying by with the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, a plane fighting a forest fire in Italy crashes into a mountain. In Panama City, a Boeing 737 veers off the runway during landing. More news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables, seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 543 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the #1 all-news station in the nation. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City.
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your great feedback and questions. I'm Captain Jeff, a pilot at a major legacy airline based in Atlanta, GA, and joining me from his studio,
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
professional photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff. Looking forward to having a good old chat with you tonight. And please ignore the sound effects.
Okay, we'll try. All right, and also joining us from her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer director. It's Liz Piper.
Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Maybe good morning.
Excellent. Yeah, so it's just the three of us here today. We're going to do a two-parter again this week, so you'll hear some other crew members later in the show, hopefully, fingers crossed. And but first, let's go right on into
See you later,
the
guys.
news. All right.
Stand by for news.
All right. Let's before I move on any further, I now understand why the last video sounded a little warbly and weird, Liz, because I think my setting in StreamYard has to be adjusted to I had echo cancellation on. That's why it was doing that weird thing. Now, and when you have echo cancellation on, you don't have stereo audio. So all the audio on the video last week probably sounded subpar as well. Okay, and so far on this one, it probably sounded subpar. So I've just fixed that. Yeah, we don't need to need to redo all that. So we'll just pick up from here. And I wish I had remembered to fix that before this moment, but oh well. That's the way it goes. All right. Well, let's start with this news item. This is from aviationsafety.net. A Canadair CL415 firefighting plane impacted the side of a mountain near Linguaglosa. I don't know. Both pilots died in the accident. The aircraft was fighting a forest fire and had just released its load of water when it contacted the downslope of a mountain and broke up. And we do have some video to play of the tragedy. And let's start with this first one here. Okay. You can kind of hear the airplane coming in the background. A little windy. There you see it in view. And it's making a turn, kind of a steep turn, and it's flying downslope, releasing its water.
Oh! Mio Dio! Mio Dio! Mio Dio!
I'm not sure what that means. Don't speak. Oh my God, that makes sense. Dio, yeah, Dio's God. Okay. And we have, I'm sorry. And we have another one. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. Again, another angle of the Canadair firefighting airplane. And for some reason the sound went out. I didn't do that. It goes beyond the ridge line there. And yeah, there's no sound for some reason. Anyway, it's pretty low over there, about to make that turn. Okay, steepens up the turn. I mean, they're almost at, I'd say about 80 degrees bank angle here.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Water's coming out, and oh, man. You can really see it hit the mountainside on that one. Looks like it hit the right wing tip on the terrain, and then that just made it cartwheel and crash into the terrain. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, it's so tragic because this is a pretty high risk type of flying, but like crop dusting, you're flying. Except here they're flying very large aircraft. This one not as big as many because we know they have DC-10s and TriStars and even for 747 in the past have been used for firefighting, modified. They really are huge airplanes to be put really close to the ground, and they've got to be close to the ground so that the retardant they throw doesn't atomize in the air. It's got special properties, so it shouldn't, but if you drop it too high, it will eventually just, particularly in the warmth of a forest fire area, it'll just evaporate and do no good at all. So they got to get in low. It's hard to line up, although they should have a spotter plane, which is much more maneuverable and able to get in and decide what line they want the drop on. They usually leave a smoke trail. Didn't see a spotter plane in this circumstance, and I wonder if that is perhaps a factor or is going to be a factor, but it might have been there. It might have gone through before we saw the video. They leave a smoke trail, and the larger drop aircraft follows it. Looks like they allowed the angle of bank to build up. Now, whether it built up because of a mechanical issue or because of distraction or because of air currents in the area, we could tell one of those videos that they're quite strong wind. I don't know, but with that amount of bank on for any length of time, the nose will start to drop. And because they're in high terrain, it's not like you've got a nice clear horizon in front of you, and they're not going to be really looking at the instruments. They're going to be heads out flying these maneuvers to see that the nose has dropped significantly. And then, I don't know whether it's an accelerated stall that they ended up in, where they pull back too hard with lots of bank, and the G causes the stall. I don't know, but it looks like it lost lift on one side, and perhaps that last flick turn into the canyon was either striking the ground or part of a stall. I don't know. We're going to find out the cause for that situation they got themselves in, but once I think they got that low with that amount of bank, there seemed to be very little way of getting out of it. I don't know.
I believe in our live audience, iHall Boxes is sharing that same opinion about it perhaps being a stall or accelerated stall, and then just loss of lift. Mohammed, hello, Mohammed. We have some feedback from him later in today's show. It asks the question, could it be because of the pressure of the water releasing?
Not usually. I mean, can be problems when they release the water, but and this aircraft is specifically designed. It's one of the very few firefighting aircraft that was designed from the ground floor up to be a water bomber. Most aircraft are, freighters or airliners that have been modified. But this one was specifically designed by Canadair, the original manufacturer. It would, when you drop a large volume of anything off an aeroplane, there is likely to be a change in center of gravity, but I would have thought on a specifically designed aircraft like this, it would have been kept to an absolute minimum. So I would be surprised if there was a pitch up caused by the release of the water. Didn't look like the water was coming out over the smoke. Perhaps they were still trying to maneuver to get over the smoke. The water came out only just before they apparently lost control or got themselves into a difficult situation, wondering perhaps if they realized what was happening and released the water to lighten the aircraft. I don't know. But I think in that situation, they would have been more likely to have been trying to roll the aircraft out rather than hold that angular bank. So I don't know. We're going to find out as much as we can from the eyewitnesses. I doubt this airplane has a cockpit data recorder. A flight data recorder. It might have cockpit voice recorders. I don't know. We might find out a little bit more when the accident report comes out.
Yeah, I hope we do. It is definitely a tragedy. Okay, let's move on to the next item from avweb.com. A Cuban pilot defected to Florida on Friday. Of course, this was a couple of weeks ago, I believe now. But there won't be much intelligence to be gleaned from the government aircraft he stole. The pilot... yeah,
Well,
it's
that
kind of an
looks
older...
pretty modern to me.
Well, okay. The pilot, identified by a Spanish publication as Ruben Martinez, flew an ancient Antonov AN-2 single-engine biplane. Yes, I said biplane. At wave top level before landing at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport in the Everglades. The pilot of the plane notified the Miami-Dade County Tower at TNT Airport that he was low on fuel and had to land there minutes before he landed. Greg Chin, the Miami-Dade Aviation Department's communications director, told Local 10 News. Martinez reportedly left El Cedro, Cuba, at 7 a.m., headed for Florida. He told airport staff that he was a defector from Sancti Spiritus, Cuba, Holy Spirit. The TSA and Customs and Border Protection are, of course, interested in how the school bus-sized relic of the Soviet era, it's a little bit bigger than a school bus. That's a huge school bus.
It is fairly large. I did a plane tale that included a lot about this aeroplane when I was talking about Antonov, the man who designed it and went on to design.
Did you mention how it was a school bus-sized aircraft?
Yeah,
no, I don't think you did.
Remember that being a description, but it didn't hold more. I don't think it held as many people as a school bus can, quite honestly.
Right. Well, anyway, the TSA and Customs and Border Protection are, of course, interested in how this relic of the Soviet era was able to sneak through one of the most surveyed coastlines in the country. Martinez is being held by customs officials. The aircraft is owned by a Cuban company called ENSA, E-N-S-A, which is a subsidiary of the government's Cuban Aviation Corporation. It normally supplies crop dusting aircraft, but recently began carrying cargo. So, yeah.
I mean, how far do you reckon he would have to have flown there, Jeff?
Well, I think in general, the distance from Cuba to, let's say, Key West, some of the key islands along the southernmost portion of Florida is about 90 miles. So this is an additional maybe 20, 30 miles from there, maybe more, but probably not much, something between 100 and 150 miles, I would imagine. Not a huge distance.
So it's not a huge distance, but he was apparently quite low on fuel. So I wonder if they deliberately fuel these aircraft so they can only normally get around Cuba to stop them defecting.
That could be. And also, just skimming along the tops of the waves, also you're going to burn more fuel as well.
Yeah. But it's not so common nowadays. I mean, there used to be a lot of defectors. I don't know. I don't keep track of how many people are trying to leave Cuba now that it's sort of opened its doors a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Well, Liz tells us that PT that you did, the plane tale, is entitled Giants of Ukraine, and that was on episode 513.
Oh, thanks, Liz. There you go. And mainly just about Antonov, but this is a big part of his story because it was an incredibly successful workhorse that, has been flown by countries all around the world. And it's quite a thing to see now in American air shows. There's often one of these down there carrying passengers around for joy flights or just displaying. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. iHaul Boxes says that there is another aspect to the story. Story has it you got a good dose of radiation from the night luminescent flight instruments.
Okay. Probably had radium or something painted all over the gauges.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. That's enough of that one, I guess. I haven't heard any. As I said, it's been a few weeks since this story appeared. And I'm not sure what the status is of Mr. Martinez. Maybe somebody out there knows and can let us know.
You'll probably let him in, won't you?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I mean, there's quite a big
you mean me personally
Cuban
or
community.
the country?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, come on. I have plenty of room here in this house. Now, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be here, but
Oh yeah,
in the
good point.
meantime,
Yeah.
it's empty.
Yeah.
So come
Well,
on
but-
in. Come on
Yes.
over. Let's see. The next item is from the Aviation Herald, avherald.com. Copa Airlines Boeing 737-800 registration, Hotel Papa 1539 Charlie Mike Papa. That's a mouthful. Performing flight 135 from Mexico City, Mexico to Panama City, Panama, with 159 passengers and 7 crew, landed on Panama City's runway 3 right at 21:12 local time, so 9:12 p.m. In the flare, they drifted towards the right-hand edge of the runway, touched down inside the touchdown zone and runway, and then veered to the left and went past the left edge of the runway, crossing the runway edge at about 110 knots over the ground. The aircraft continued parallel to the runway, crossed a high-speed turnoff, beginning to correct towards the runway, but came to a stop about 2,200 meters or 7,200 feet down the runway and about 21 meters or 70 feet to the left of the left runway edge. The aircraft was evacuated via slides. There were no injuries reported. The airline reported that the aircraft suffered a mishap during landing. Wow.
Yeah. Just a small
Yeah,
one.
you think? No serious injuries were being reported. Emergency protocols were immediately activated. The airport was closed. Panama Civil Aviation Authority opened an investigation. The airline reported that the aircraft went off the runway upon landing, no injury. Okay, why do we keep repeating all these things? I don't know. Tropical Storm Ian passed Panama City about 380 nautical miles north of the airport, according to the USA National Hurricane Center, but they claim that there was no influence onto Panama City. There's a radar picture, enhanced radar display, showing excuse me, some light convective activity around the country of Panama and Panama City around the time of the accident. So it was raining. I think we have some METAR information from that time frame. Looks like regular level thunderstorms, rain showers, 700 scattered, 1,600 scattered cumulonimbus, 8,000 broken, 25 and 24 in the temperature dew point spread, and winds again pretty steady, 110 at 11 knots. So not like a huge gusty crosswind or anything. A little bit of a crosswind, but nothing that any professional pilot can't handle. I would imagine that this runway is 10,006 feet long and 148 feet wide. I would imagine it's probably not grooved or doesn't have a porous friction overlay, as many runways in that area of the world are, or don't have, whatever. So, you don't have a lot of. Well, I take that back. Now I'm looking at this picture of the crane that's coming over in the recovery effort, and it does look like there are grooves etched into the runway.
Yeah, most certainly, yes.
So take that back. I guess they do have some. It is a grooved runway, which definitely helps disperse rainwater. Yes, very groovy, Liz.
Now, interestingly, they had a reverser locked out.
Yeah, that was what I was going to mention next. Why don't you tell us about that, Nick?
Well, they got airborne with an unserviceable reverser, so their MEL, minimum equipment list, allowed them to fly with a reverser out, so long as obviously you check your landing distance requirements at your destination and make sure you can get in there without using reversers, although almost all calculations regarding landing distance, you don't include the reverser. Reverser is a bonus. You'd normally just rely on the brakes, and if you get the reversers, so much the better. So they went there without reversers. The description I found most odd because
me too.
Said the crew applied, and this is they said, after they felt a different sensation, so they've landed on the right-hand side of the runway. They felt a vibration as if a tire had burst. The aircraft developed a strong yaw to the left. So they're on the right-hand side, they're pointing left, and the crew applied right-hand rudder without success. In other words, I don't think it means they tried to put the rudder on and they weren't successful. It means I think the right-hand rudder wasn't successful in stopping the swing and activated the thrust reverser on the number 1 engine. Now that's on the side that they're drifting off, and bearing in mind the thrust is in the opposite direction to where it normally goes, it's going to make the situation a little worse. It will obviously aid a little in helping to slow down, but reversers are at their most efficient when you're at high speed, not at the lower end of the speed range. They do provide some assistance, but not nearly as much as they do. If you're going to use it, you really need to have it in at the beginning of the landing roll. So I thought that was an odd thing to do, perhaps. Perhaps it might suggest that they had felt that they were running out of room. I don't know. Although they seem to have gone off the runway only about halfway down. They then went a considerable distance on the grass before they ground to a halt.
That did give them a little bit more friction, I suppose. But I did the same thing, Nick. When I read this, I'm thinking, well, why would they use the left? I mean, it's the only operable thrust reverser, yes, but that's just going to make things worse in my mind as you just mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't know what restrictions the 737 has on using just one reverser. I know on the Airbus we were okay to use them in certain circumstances, but not every circumstance. So, and this looks like it was very wet. I mean, despite the fact that it was a grooved runway, it does look extremely soggy there. So there is a chance that they were aquaplaning, and that the situation might not have been made any better by using that reverser.
Yep. Yeah, that's a head scratcher for sure. So anyway, hopefully we'll maybe get an update, preliminary report or something in the future where we can kind of we'll keep our eyes and ears open, as we like to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Continuing on, we've got a nice pace going here today. Final report. This is from the Aviation Herald as well. A Transcarga, okay, International Airlines Airbus A300-B4 freighter, registration Yankee Victor 560 Tango, performing flight 1527 from Bogota, Colombia to Caracas, Venezuela, was accelerating for takeoff from Bogota's runway 31 right when a loud explosion could be heard far into the surrounding city. A large
doesn't bode well.
No. A large metallic piece landed on the roads of Bogota at the crossing of Calle 63 and Carrera 103, missing a motorcycle driver by about 10 meters. The crew rejected takeoff due to the failure of the left-hand engine, a CF6, and brought the aircraft to a safe standstill. There were no injuries. There was almost one with that motorcycle guy.
Yes, that's right.
Colombia's GRIAA reported that they have opened an investigation to determine the causes of and damage caused by the occurrence. When parts of the left engine of the A300 were ejected, the aircraft had just begun its takeoff run. When the crew rejected the takeoff, the graphic there that we're seeing, you can see the very end of the runway there, and it wasn't long after they had started applying power to the engine that the incident occurred, pretty close to the start of their takeoff roll. Initial investigation by the investigators dispatched on site verified that a rotor disc had been ejected. That's not supposed to happen. Impacted one of the runway safety meshes and subsequently collided with the door of a workshop located in an area surrounding the airport. Again, there were no injuries. Let's see. It goes into a little bit more detail. They were preparing for takeoff from 31 right. At the threshold, the crew accelerated the engines to about 75% thrust when a loud bang occurred and the left-hand engine shut down. The aircraft taxied back to the apron on its own using the right-hand engine. The GRIAA recovered debris from the runway and surrounding areas. No, surrounding areas. No, it's surrounding. Misspelling. Maximum distance 400 meters, with the most distant part having been the low-pressure turbine section. The occurrence was rated a serious incident. The report concludes that the probable cause of the serious incident were failure of the left-hand engine caused by fatigue, loosening the low-pressure turbine blades. Contributing factors were non-compliance with maintenance procedures by the operator by not complying with the manufacturer's requirements laid out in FAA Airworthiness Directive 2012-27, issued on November 1st, 2012, which required the replacement of the blades. The lack of an effective supplier verification program at the operator and the lack of supervision and verification of borescopic results, which did not permit to identify and apply corrective measures to the erosion found on the tips of the blades during the previous inspection, carried out 7 cycles before the occurrence. Okay, so the compliance with an airworthiness directive, an inspection, didn't happen. Liz is telling me that the airline is a Venezuelan registered airline. And yeah, the economic situation and sanctions and such put in place may have, kept them from getting the required parts to fix this issue. I don't know. That's iHall Boxes in our live audience says, when the aircraft parts go knocking on the maintenance shop door themselves. Oh, wow. Yeah. So something's wrong.
Well done.
Please help.
Yes, absolutely. Now, that's a pretty big piece of kit to come flying out of the engine. And then, of course, it's rotating fast, so when it hits the ground, it's going to skipping off like a spare tire that's come off your car. And that motorcyclist, if it had hit him, I think he would have been, it would have not been a happy situation. Mm-mm. But, just absolute negligence from the company. If they had been told that they were required to do inspections and they weren't carried out in accordance with the manufacturer's requirements, then that is pretty awful. And, it gave way at only 75% power, so if it had been at full power, it might have been even worse.
It's a good thing it happened where it happened. Still on the ground at a very low speed. And good that, of course, it didn't hit anybody, as you mentioned.
But it does worry me that these cowboys are getting everywhere.
Oh yeah, our influence on the world of aviation is
spreading,
extensive. Yes, yeehaw, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. How do you say yeehaw in Spanish? I don't know.
Hola.
Ole. Okay. I think I know. I need to load up a video here to play for this next item, and here we go. Open, and let's play it. From Bass Aviation, Real Aviation Communications. Let's see if I can read this quickly. Oh, I don't get to read anything. Okay, good. We're just going to hear some.
Delta 2076.
Oh.
Delta 2076. We just got a report from the back that we have a potentially incapacitated passenger, and it's likely we'll be returning to the gate, but we'll let you know when we get confirmation.
Delta 2076, roger that. Just keep me advised on what assistance you need, and if that's the case, we'll just try to get us any patient information and what gate, and we'll work on that for you.
We'll advise. Thank you.
That was, I don't know about you, Nick, but that was amazing, that response from air traffic control. I mean...
very helpful.
Yeah. No, I mean, really.
Not used to that.
I was just like, usually all those little things that he just said come in little bits and pieces. But he just very concisely said, this is what we're going to do. This is the information we need from you. And man, I was impressed with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tower Delta 2076.
Delta 2076.
Delta 2076, we've got to go back to the gate. We've confirmed that that passenger was vaping, so he's got to get off anyway, and doesn't sound like we need medical assistance at this time. Just
Delta 2076, roger that. Make a left turn, taxi on to runway 7 left at Echo 3.
left turn and onto 7 left at Echo 3, Delta 2076.
Delta 2076, I'm going to go ahead and change your proposed time to 1 hour from now, so your flight plan stays in the system.
Appreciate it, 2076.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, this guy's on fire.
I know. It's amazing.
Delta 2076 at Echo 3, cross runway 7 left, then turn left onto Foxtrot.
At Echo 3, cross 7 left, then left on Foxtrot, Delta 2076.
Delta 2076, what gate are you going back to?
We're working on that now, Delta 2076.
Delta 2076, hold short, runway 7 left at Foxtrot 8.
Hold short 7 left at Foxtrot 8, Delta 2076.
Delta 2076, hold short, runway 7 left at Foxtrot 6.
Foxtrot 6, short of 7 left, Delta 2076.
Just to clarify, Delta 2076, there's no assistance needed. They just have to pull that guy off, right?
As of now, yes, Delta 2076.
Delta 2076, if you come back out later and there's a lineup, just remind ground, hey, you were number 1 for departure. Can you be put back up at the front of the line?
That's mighty kind of you.
Wow.
I think he likes that pilot.
I think so, and I think I'm gonna nominate him as Controller of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. What a guy.
Oh, Liz thinks that Miami Rick may have something to do with this. He may have been down there training these air traffic controllers how to talk to pilots.
Oh, I thought you were going to suggest he was down there vaping.
Well, that may have been actually. Now that you mention it, perhaps that was him. Yeah, he did tell us he had some kind of a problem on a flight recently. No,
he did. Yes.
Anyway, yeah, nothing. It's what does Neil say? They're going to pull him off? Wow, great service. Yeah, no kidding. The thought did come to my mind and Liz's as well. You should know when they said that.
Never occurred to me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, so I was thinking to myself, okay, vaping, smoking's not allowed. So I did quickly look it up, and the FAA says, let me quote, that, well, first of all, it talks about electronic smoking devices containing lithium batteries pose a fire risk, and talking about the fact that you need to bring them on with you, but you need to take the batteries out and put these things into some kind of a case to make sure that they're all nice and safe. But they said just as passengers are not allowed to smoke cigarettes on an aircraft, they should never use their vapes or e-cigarettes on an aircraft. It's not only dangerous, it's a federal offense. So just in case you're wondering whether vaping is allowed or not on an aircraft, no, it is not.
As he will discover.
Yeah.
When he goes to court.
Right. So I think, though, to me, the thing that really stands out on this whole thing was the takeaway. The prior to takeoff, the takeaway was that this air traffic controller was just awesome. I mean, just thinking about his, flight plan, their flight plan, keeping it open and everything else, I'm thinking, wow, that's getting to the front of the line. I've never heard that before. That's what? Yeah. Good to hear.
It's nice to see. Lovely to see, in fact.
Yep.
A place I never got to there. So I wish I had now.
Yeah. It's, well, you know what, Nick? I'm going to get this motorhome thing, and I'm going to be traveling all over the country, and you're more than welcome to fly out. Well, I'm going to be living with Rick, part-time. I got to spread my love, Liz.
Of course.
But we can, and Nick can be with me, and we'll when we're parking at Rick's house for 6 months out of the year. And it's not that far from there to Las Vegas. Is that what you were saying? You wanted to go to Las Vegas?
No. I thought this was Philadelphia. No?
No, this is actually Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix. Okay.
I think.
Well,
wasn't it?
I've no idea.
Yeah, I think it's Phoenix. Yeah, PHX, Phoenix.
Okay.
Anyway, well, looking forward to doing some American adventures. Yeehaw! in the motorhome. Anyway, So Liz was asking whether we wanted to do the Getting to Know Us segment on this show, or do you want to kind of just postpone that for part 2 sometime this weekend? How you doing?
I can do a quick getting to know you, or you might want to hang on to yours.
Yeah, I
depends.
don't really have anything. There's nothing to know about me.
Well, I haven't got much to say, but
Yeah.
happy to do it.
I see what Liz is saying is, wouldn't it be easier to do it all in one segment as far as
Up to you,
editing is concerned? Yeah, it would be easier. Okay, let's go ahead and just knock out a couple pieces of feedback, and then we'll call it a day. What do you
Sure,
think?
I'm a little achy here.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Feedback bumper coming.
Captain, incoming message.
Oh boy. Okay, so last episode we had a distinguished guest, APG community member, in our live audience, and he is back in our live audience this week. He sent us in some feedback, and so we're going to go ahead and play his audio feedback, and then after that, yep. Okay, Liz is going to put up a picture, and we are going to identify Mohammed. In this picture, he is the good-looking gentleman wearing the glasses, nice sunglasses, and a suit jacket, a uniform jacket, and looking all nice and spiffy right in the front, just slightly left of center from our perspective. So that is Mohammed, and now we're going to hear his audio feedback.
Hi there, APG crews. Thank you very much for your warm welcoming to me on last episode. That's very nice of you guys. I appreciate it, and my apologies for my absence. It's a lot of personal things happen. Nothing bad. Mostly are positive. A lot of social activities, hanging out with friends, some trips, family, festivals, things like this. So, on this feedback, let me, if you allow me, to talk about. Let's say about news or about what's happening in Iraq or in Baghdad International Airport. Well, I would like to share with you something positive. We made a concert, we can say, or a party, I believe, yes. Party is much better. We made a party on Air Traffic Controller International Day, which is in 20th of October, okay? It's ATC Day. We made a lot of celebration. We were dancing, and we were celebrate this day. I will send you some photos and maybe videos. I will upload it on the email. And the previous Iraqi Minister of Transportation, and some Iraqi parliament members, some Iraqi Air Force members, and higher ups, the general or the chief Iraqi authority, civil aviation also, he was there. And we danced, we celebrate this day. We were very happy, for sure. And I think you will like it. I will send you some photos and videos. I'm not sure if it will be uploaded here or not. And hopefully you will like it. Thank you very much. Thanks for your moral support, guys. Thanks for your appreciation, and all that is really touched my heart, and I appreciate it, and I wish you well. All good. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Mohammed. Very great feedback. And while you were, your English is great. I mean, so much better than my Iraqi or whatever language it is. What is it that
Farsi? Probably.
There we go. I always get that wrong. Sorry, my Farsi is non-existent. But look at this. He's saying in the chat room he's a good dancer. Well, we'll be the judge of that. Let's go ahead and I could have done this while we were listening to his audio feedback, couldn't I? We're gonna see a couple of little video clips here of the claim that he is a good dancer. Let's start with this right here. Oops, no, I have a couple other little buttons to push. Sorry. Open, and this is smooth, isn't it?
I'm impressed.
I know you are. And you're just jealous of my skills. Okay, where is the first one? I only see one. Huh.
Well, I can see 3.
Do you see them? Why don't I see them in my...
I don't know, little chap.
Oh, they're hiding behind another video. Okay.
ATC!
Did you say APG? That's what he's saying, right? No?
Sounds like it. Go again.
Okay, let me see. I'm pretty sure that's what...
APG!
Yeah. Yes. I love it. That's brilliant.
Okay,
Well
let's
done.
see. Here we go.
ATC!
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. I thought... Let me try this one. Here's some dancing.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I love it. All right, and a Kurdish dance. Okay, one more. Here's some more dancing. There he is. Yeah, I see him. Look at him. He is a good dancer.
Very much so. This is like square dancing, yeah?
Yeah, sort of.
That's very good. Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us, Mohammed. That's and you're right. I know you're not really modest, but you are a good dancer. That's for sure. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, Liz, we agreed we weren't going to show that because this is when Mohammed got a little bit out of hand, and that guy in the black shirt had to grab him and try to extricate him from all the big party celebration. Here, apparently,
I love it.
No, just kidding. Of course, I'm sure he behaved himself. Yeah, it's time for you, Nick, to go to go to bed.
I'm afraid the after effects of this procedure today have caught up with me. I'm afraid I'm feeling a bit rough. I need to go take some painkillers and go lie down, I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, yes, Liz is saying that we'll be in touch with you regarding when we set up for the second part of the show. And those of you who are in our live chat room, please accept our apologies for not doing a full show today, but due to the circumstances, I think... Oh, I don't know. Do you think I should
Yeah, I think you should crack on for a few more.
Okay, so I'll crack on for a few more then. Okay.
And I'll just say goodbye for now.
Okay, see you, Nick.
Hopefully see you over the weekend. Cheers.
Hope you feel better.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, well, let me clear out some of these videos so I don't screw them up again. Okay. Yeah, I think it. Okay, maybe do. Let's see. I got to. Oh, no problem. That was fun. Yeah, I'm glad that Muhammad was here to see all this and help explain, clarify, and all that. Exactly. Okay, I think. Why is it not allowing me to remove this one? That's weird. Oh, that's the slideshow. That's why. Okay, I promise I won't remove that one. Okay, so where do we go from here, Liz? B. Okay, here we go. Oh, I got to get another video ready. Oh, it is. Yes. I need staff. Yeah, that's good. All right, this is this video right here. Okay. Let me go back over here to Evernote and 3B. Okay. Now we have some more feedback. This time, or this one from Sam Bolog or Bolog. You need to let us know, Sam, exactly how that's pronounced. He says, if you haven't seen the Three Stooges as pilots, watch the episode Dizzy Pilots. They are demonstrating a plane in hopes of selling it to the Army to avoid being drafted. I think you will all get a laugh out of it, even if you're not a Stooge fan. And so we're going to go ahead and play a little bit of this. The Three Studios. Jeff, Nick, and Rick. Dizzy Pilots. And, okay, let's fast forward a little bit here. Okay, so draft board has decided to extend to you a 30-day deferment for military service based on your claim that you have invented an airplane that will revolutionize flying. However, if at the end of 30 days you have not proven your plane to be all what you claim it is, you'll be inducted into the service. And this is from the what did you say, Liz? Oh, there you go at the very top. The Republic of Canabir, PU. Okay.
Board number 145.
Oh, I guess I could have let him read this whole thing. Oh well.
The Buzzard, the greatest plane ever made.
Nobody ever thought of inventing a plane like ours.
You said it. We're great inventors. Robert Fulton, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Don Amici, and us.
Okay, let's finish her up so if flying we can go.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. A flying we will go. Da-da.
Okay. Just a little. I don't want to play too much because I don't want to get any copyright strikes. And yeah, so we'll have a link to this this show, this Three Stooges episode, Dizzy Pilots, in the show notes when you are actually able to access the show notes. We're having a little issue with that right now, but we are working on it. We're hoping that by the end of the day, we'll have that all worked out, hopefully. Okay, let's remove that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, remove from the studio, and let's go back over to the next item from Brew Crafter John. It's not easy for me to say for some reason. Not a pilot, just an aviation geek whose fascination began in the late 60s, early 70s, sitting in my parents' car in the parking lot while they were in the base commissary at Norton Air Force Base and watching. Who knows? Might have even been Captain Jeff. No, not in the 60s and early 70s. I was still a kid myself. When I flew into Norton, I was in the Air Force in 1981 through the end of 88, but flying the 141 into Norton Air Force Base every now and then, probably in the early to mid 80s. Anyway, the Starlifters running up their engines prior to takeoff at the end of the runway right next to the parking lot was what he was watching. Alas, Norton is long gone, but, well, it's now, San Bernardino International? I think I've flown a couple of Mad Dogs into San Bernardino, now what used to be Norton Air Force Base, on their retirement flights. Anyway, the base itself, though, the Air Force presence is long gone. But who knows, maybe now Miami Rick or IHAL boxes are the ones I see flying in and out, since SBD is now an air cargo and periodically an air tanker hub. I also currently live in pretty close proximity to the end of the runway at EAA Chapter number 1 and frequently get to see a plane that Nick Camacho might be familiar with, the D-Day doll, flying over. It really rattles the roof tiles, so neat. Anyhow, this week's tragedy of Hurricane Ian, we've had this feedback for a while, made me reflect on a couple of items. I know that altimeters rely on the principle that barometric pressure drops as altitude increases in a fairly standard formula. But what about those incredible pilots? Cue the cowboy sound effect. You mean this one? Yeehaw! All right. That fly Hurricane Hunter aircraft obtaining valuable weather data. Not being a pilot, I would think that the dramatically lower pressures found in such weather systems and the extreme variability in pressures flying through the system might make altimeter readings pretty variable. But then again, since one of the factors they're measuring is barometric pressure, maybe they compensate as they go. Seems complicated. Honestly, the main, I think this is Jeff speaking, the most important thing about making sure that you have a proper barometric altimeter setting is when you're getting close to the ground, you don't want to fly into it, and also when you're flying around other airplanes. Now, most pilots out there have more sense than these Hurricane Hunter cowboys. Yeehaw! So we don't get anywhere near these darn hurricanes and the eyes and all that kind of stuff. We stay away. So there's probably not much, see and avoid. Very, very true, Liz. So we, I don't think you need to really worry about too much about the calibration or adjustment of barometric pressure when you're going through a hurricane eye wall. That's just me. But anyway, I've only had the syndrome since about the Tequila Tower episode. So has Captain Nick ever done an old pilot's plane tale about these pilots, their planes, and their mission? Has he? I don't think he has. Yeah, Liz is going to do a search on that, but I don't believe I recall Nick having done a plane tale about the Hurricane Hunters. Thank you. I enjoy listening to you all during my hours-long SoCal commute to work to help create and distribute IPAs and other fine craft ales and lagers. Brewcrafter John. Wow, I love that. Maybe you could distribute some IPAs over here in Roswell, Georgia. Well, that's kind of a long way to go from Southern California, isn't it? Yeah, they might notice that you're gone for a while. Yeah, that's true. Liz is mentioning that it's possible that when I'm doing my gallivanting around in my nomad lifestyle in the motorhome, it's very possible that I could be out in Southern California, maybe do a meetup or two while I'm out there. Looking forward to that life. And Liz says that she didn't see any mention of Hurricane Hunters in the Plain Tales Index. So there you go. But hey, it might be an interesting thing for him to cover at some point. We'll see. Let's do a few more, Liz. Yeah. JJ Pittsburgh. Yes, JJ Pittsburgh, not JJ not Pittsburgh. Okay, here we go.
Greetings, APG crew. It's JJ Pittsburgh here. I just stepped out of the gym and I was thinking about it. For all the commercial pilots in the crew, when you're out on the road on trips, what is your normal workout routine if you do have any? I was curious about that because you know me at this point, I do so many road trips that I generally just will hit up the local Planet Fitness because there's locations pretty much everywhere. They're kind of like a Starbucks at this point. They're like on every corner. So, which is great. So any city I'm in, I could hop into the gym and get my, blood flowing. Because once again, I am like sitting in the car a lot on these trips, and it's nice to kind of like, just keep moving whenever I'm in a certain location. So I was curious about that because you guys are cooped up in the cockpit on these trips. Thought you might hit up the gym, and I was curious about that. Or maybe you just hit up the hotel gym. So anyway, I was just thinking about that. Another little tidbit of life for an airline pilot, and inquiring minds want to know. So anyway, hope all is doing well. As for me, I'm just plugging along, working on some of my music stuff. I look forward to sharing that with you guys whenever we work it out. Me and my buddy Doug are working on some stuff. So I'm going to have quite a setup coming up, and heck, maybe I'll write a song about Dr. Steph. Who knows? Anyway, peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you, JJ Pittsburgh, for sending in more audio feedback. It was great seeing you at Oshkosh, by the way. That was a good time. So great question. So as you know, I'm quite a bodybuilder, just like Miami Rick. In fact, I don't really like to flaunt it, around, especially around because it would make him feel bad. No, obviously, Miami Rick is the guy that, is working out all the time. On the other hand, I kind of subscribe to the theory you only have a limited number of heartbeats in this life, and I don't want to waste any. I'm saving them up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big going to the gym and working out kind of guy. When I was younger, I used to go out on layovers and go for runs and that kind of thing. But it wasn't long after I started flying for the airlines that my knees were, actually it was even before I started flying for the airlines that while I was still in the Air Force, my knees were telling me, stop, please stop, because you're hurting these joints. A lot of pilots, though, do. I'd say if I were just to give a rough estimate from the people that I fly with, probably something close to 50% of the people that I fly with end up, like doing some kind of a workout, at least one of the layovers. If let's say we have 2 layovers on a 3-day trip. And in most cases, they will seek out the place that's closest and most convenient, which is usually the hotel gym. I guess there are some hotels that have better gyms than other, and the equipment they like to use and that kind of thing. But as I said, I'm not an expert at this, so I'm definitely not the guy to ask. I think Miami Rick would be definitely the one to answer this question. iHall Boxes in our live audience he said, I'm usually so fatigued, I swim around a bit and do a mini workout, but I can feel my heart rate shoot up immediately the afternoon after flying all night. I bet you can, yeah. Honestly, for me, at my advanced age, running is not really a thing. I know there are people my age and older that run, but walking is something that actually I used to do quite a bit, go for long walks and that kind of thing, but I've been bad. I haven't been doing much of that either. I've been a very sedentary existence for a while, mainly because of just things happening in my life at present, but hopefully at some point I'll get back into a good routine of taking long walks. I do when I'm on trips, instead of taking the train between concourses and that sort of thing, I try to just do it walking between concourses and try to get my steps in, and all, even though I don't really pay attention to how many steps I've done. Even though I have a Apple Watch, I'm not even sure how you find that on your watch. I never look at it. But I'm not a big step person, but I do try to, get keep mobile and relatively non-sedentary when I can. But when you're flying airplanes for a living, especially like I haul boxes, I think he flies long haul. He can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but the long haul really does take a toll on you as far as sitting there. And flying at night, yeah, you're right, is definitely something that is kind of hard on your physical person. But I'd say there are occasions where I've heard guys say that the hotel gym is either non-existent or so bad that they seek out like a Planet Fitness or a LA Fitness or Gold's Gym or one of these chains that are around the country. And in fact, some hotels actually have agreements with some of these local gyms where you can, it's not quite as convenient as working out in the hotel gym, but you can, find a place that has more advanced equipment and more of a variety of things to work out with and that kind of thing. But basically what I'm saying is, JJ, I don't know. I don't do any of it. I just sit and edit podcasts and get ready for the next one, and then walk out and drink beer and eat barbecue and sing. Yeah, singing, it's kind of exercise. Not very strenuous, though. Yeah, I do work on my lung capacity for sure. All right. So thank you, JJ, for the question. And you know what? I think we're going to keep that one. We're going to set it aside and maybe bring it back up again when Rick is with us. Let's see. Greg Peterson. Okay, want to just do this one more and then call it quits for today? Okay. So Greg, who used to be, he says, your formerly big-ass fan, Greg Peterson. Peterson. What are you doing, Jeff? But he's now our big-ass crane guy because he works for a company that makes very large cranes. He says, just finished listening to episode 539. Love the discussion with Rick about the jet engines. As a former employee of GE Aviation, I did 2 co-op tours there during college. I'm partial to the General Electric engines myself. I personally love the GE90 and the GE9X, and I'm working on a 3D printed model based on the GE9X layout. Okay, wait, I need to play something here. Hang on. Okay, it's not going to be easy for me to get to it, apparently. Sorry. Okay, this thing, what is this thing called when you go from one screen to another in the new OS? It's out of control. My cursor now is stuck on my iPad. Wait a minute. Oh, I have it back. It thinks that my display over here to the left is to the right. But it's not. It's to the left. It's so confusing. Okay. So I'm going to do a take 2 here because this is just a mess. And because there's something I do want to... Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, don't fall asleep. Which is going to be difficult to do when it's just me talking. I'm sure that they're already snoring. It's a good thing we can't hear it. No, I can hear Liz snoring. Okay. As a former employee of GE Aviation, I did 2 co-op tours there during college. I'm partial to the GE engines myself. I personally love the GE90 and the GE9X, and I'm working on a 3D printed model based on the GE9X layout.
Nerd alert!
I've spoken to some other airline pilots that have flown both GE and Pratt & Whitney engines, and like Rick, they generally seem to like the GE engines better, just from an operational standpoint. They have said that the GE engines seem to have more power and are much easier to operate. I would love to get back to working with engines and have applied for numerous jobs with the airlines working in their engine, power plant, propulsion departments. Seems every airline calls it something different. And I patiently await the call for an interview. As far as the future of jet engines, I think it's time to look a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Cue the Star Wars theme song here. Okay, just everybody think about it, because I'm not going to play that. That'll definitely be a copyright strike. I think they had it figured out. One engine that would not only work in the atmosphere of a planet, but would also propel you through hyperspace just as effectively. We need to figure out the propulsion of ships like the X-Wings for GA and regional jets, the Millennium Falcon for your standard narrow-body 737 or A320 family jet, and the Imperial Star Destroyers for your wide-body and long-haul jets. I kid. But in all seriousness, I don't see the high bypass gas turbine engine going away in our lifetime, but I agree that we are coming up against the limitation of known engineering materials, and research should be conducted, not only on making the current engines more efficient and environmentally friendly, but also on new materials and technology to provide an engine for the future. I'm sure greater minds than mine are hard at work at General Electric Aviation, Pratt & Whitney, Rolls-Royce, and the myriad other smaller engine manufacturers looking for the next great engine technology. Blue skies, tailwinds, and relaxing layovers to all. Again, your formerly Big Ass fan, Greg Peterson. Good to hear from you, Greg. Has been a while since I've made it up to Lexington, so hopefully sometime soon in the future, and we'll go out and have another nice meal together, and always good to hear from you. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for part. We do have a little bit later in our feedback segment, which we'll do in part 2, some feedback regarding our questioning or our wondering about rocket engines, and how to use them, or how to make them more efficient, and the whole thing about you have to carry your own oxidizer with you, because obviously in space you don't have oxygen in the atmosphere, because there's no atmosphere. So we'll play that a little bit later in the show. And all right, thank you. Liz is hanging up on Skype, and she's going to join me. There she is. She's back with me in the video, and thank you so much for helping me out again on part 1,
Anytime.
Liz.
Anytime.
And
we'll let you guys know what we come up with for the weekend.
Exactly. It's kind of it's a moving target.
Dynamic environment.
Right now. A dynamic environment, and flexibility is the key to air power, they say. So we'll try to get everybody together in some kind of a meeting and try to come up with a daytime this weekend where as many of us as possible can get together, and we can finish up some of this great.
And it may just be Jeff and Nick again. Who knows?
Yeah, it might just be Captain Nick and I. Oh, that's right. I don't have to repeat what you're saying. Now you're here with me in the video.
Yeah, sorry.
People can hear you. No, don't apologize. It's just I'm so used to this thing where I'm the only one that can hear you. And then I went, oh, that's right. Everybody else can hear you too. All right.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.
Bye for now.
And are you going to stop the feed?
Yep.
Thanks.